What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, doing a deck profile. This is going to be on Watts, the deck I've been playing a lot recently, along with a lot of other stuff. I'm going to get into a Verz / Evil Swarm / Steel Swarm deck profile soon, along with character Yugioh's. I'm going to do a ton of deck profiles. Sadly, I don't have intros done for any of them yet. Not even this one, so it might be a little while before you see these. Hopefully I can get it done by whatever day I want to upload this on. Monday, Tuesday, I don't remember when I upload Yu-Gi-Oh videos. I haven't been with this schedule long enough. Anyway, this is a Watt deck profile. This deck is very nice. It's somewhat budget. It's not extremely budget, like Rockstun is, because of Watt Giraffe, which is, I think, the most expensive card in the deck, which is, you know, 15, 10 bucks, and also Thunder Seahorse is kind of an expensive card, going up to around $25, so it's not very budget. You can definitely take out these Thunder Seahorses. They're a luxury, I would say, but yeah, this is the Watt deck that I've chosen to make, and I'm just gonna jump right into it. The main thing we're trying to do with this deck is pretty much get 2 Watt Hoppers in defense mode on the field, and hopefully a Starlight Road or a Solemn Judgment face down. Now, Watt Hopper reads, your opponent cannot select another face-up Watt monster on the field as an attack target, or target them with card effects. This means that if you have 2 Watt Hoppers on the field, your opponent cannot target any of your Watts with attacks or card effects. So they cannot deprison your monsters, they cannot compulse your monsters, they cannot attack your monsters, they cannot use Dark Arm to blow up your monsters, they can't do anything outside of Dark Hole or Mirror Force. You get these Watt Hoppers in defense mode so that when they Dark Hole, you Solemn or Starlight Road, and then they can't do anything after that. So yes, getting these two of these guys in defense mode almost guarantees a win, and then you summon stuff like Watt Cobra, Watt Pheasant, or Watt Giraffe, and the general Watt effect is, with all the stuff I'm using in this deck, is that they can attack directly. So, very good. It's an annoying deck to deal with. It's weird because it's not control, but it doesn't explode. So, like, you're not really controlling the field, you're not blowing up a lot of stuff, you're kind of just leaving your opponent and saying, okay, I'm gonna do my thing, you can try to do your thing, see what goes on, you know, I'll stay out of your way, you try to stay out of my way. But yes, anyway, let's get into the deck. First we'll do the cards that are not Watts, which is Honest, which any person should know. This is a very good card with respect to light monsters. It basically makes your opponent's monsters attack 0. You can discard it during the damage step to do this. And it's really good because, you know, you can leave stuff on the field like a Watt Cobra, and then they'll just be like, oh, I can summon this and attack into it, and they end up attacking into an Honest. Also, if you're playing TCG, 2 monsters with 0 attack, that doesn't apply here. I'm very sorry for wasting your time. What I was going to say, a little unknown ruling, sort of, for TCG players. If you have 2 monsters with 0 attack that attack each other, neither of them are destroyed, as opposed to in the OCG, when 2 monsters with 0 attack each other, they will both be destroyed. If Honest made your opponent's monster lose attack, then this would be applied. But if they attack with a 2000 monster, you discard Honest, Watt Hopper jumps up to 2000 attack, and then they've suicided, which is not a bad strategy in general, because it'll get rid of their monster, and then you can use stuff like recycling batteries to get one back. So yeah, that's how that works. The next card, the only other monster in this deck, of course, that is not a Watt, is Thunder Seahorse. Now, you can discard him to add 2 level 4 light Thunder type monsters with 1600 or less attack with the same name from the deck to your hand, and you can only use his effect once per turn. You can also not special summon during the turn you activate his effect. But the thing is, like, you have 2 roads you can go down when you use this effect. You can discard him immediately to grab a Giraffe or a Cobra, or you can discard Thunder Seahorse to get another Thunder Seahorse. That's a very interesting play that I've done many a time myself. And that gives you 2 Thunder Seahorses, so then you can get 2 Watt Cobras and 2 Watt Giraffes by discarding him, so it's a very good card. My only problem is that it has to be level 4. If it was level 4 or lower, it would be even better, because you'd be able to get Hopper and Dragonfly, which, that would just be amazing. Okay, now we have Watt Cobra. This card can attack your opponent directly, and when it inflicts damage, note you only by direct attack, so if your opponent's monster attacks, you discard Honest, you don't get the effect. But if it damages your opponent by a direct attack, you add 1 Watt from your deck to your hand, and seeing as a large portion of this deck is Watt monsters, that's very good. It lets you search out a ton of the deck. That's why he's at 3. He's kind of the main Watt. He's also not very pricey at all, so if you want to make this deck, just leave out the Thunder Seahorses and you could make it for, I would say, under $50. So that's really nice. Next we have 2 Watt Dragonfly. When it's destroyed by an opponent card by battle or card effect, you get a Watt from your deck and special summon it. This can be nice if you're like holding a Watt Hopper in your hand. You set this guy, they attack into it, you get a Watt Hopper, and then you summon a Watt Hopper, and then you have Hopper Lock immediately. So yeah, he's a really nice card in that regard. He's also really nice if they only have a 1 monster out. They only have a 1 monster out. But if they only have 1 monster out, you set him, they attack into him, you special summon Cobra, your turn you attack, you get Cobra's effect, grab a Hopper, or, you know, a Giraffe, or another Cobra, whatever you want, you know. It's just very nice. The next card we have is Watt Giraffe, the most powerful monster in the entire deck. That really fights, because, you know, Thunder Seahorse doesn't battle very much, and Honest doesn't, but he's lower. But yeah, he's at 1200 attack. He can attack directly. He has the secondary effect, which is similar to Watt Pheasant's effect, in that it never really comes into play. But after it damages your opponent from a direct attack, they can't activate any spell trap or monster effects until the end phase, which is interesting, because, like, if you attack with this guy first, then they can't Gores after you attack with him. So they'll have to, you know, drop a Gores on him. They can't deprison your monsters after him. So he can sort of bait stuff out if you want him to, because after he attacks, your opponent can't do anything. Next, we have Watt Hopper, the star of the show. I have already explained him pretty much his entirety. Level 1. Actually, guys, I want to make a last-minute change to the deck. So if you didn't watch the video and just watched the start, I'm sorry for all those people. We're actually adding 1 card, and that is 1/1. This puts the entire deck up to 41 cards. If you want to, you can take out a Thunder Seahorse or a Watt Pheasant. Those are probably the 2 most useless ones, but I am definitely fine with 41 cards in the deck anyway. He can be searched out via 1/1, which is really good if you're holding Watt Hopper and Watt Pheasant or any other monster. You can summon the Hopper, get a second one with 1/1, and it just speeds up the deck incredibly. That's why I'm running it. I haven't added it to the deck, but there is pretty much... that's exactly how it's going to work. I can guarantee it. And your last monster is Watt Pheasant. He has the same stats pretty much as Watt Cobra, except a little more defense. And when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent from a direct attack, you select a face-up monster on the field and remove it from play until the end phase. Usually has no effect on the game. I guess if your opponent is a T-King, you can summon him, attack directly, banish the T-King, then activate your duality, or like then attack with Watt Cobra. That's probably the only situation I can see it like making a difference in. So yeah, that's all I can see. Of course, this is mandatory, so if you have to every time, the only thing is that it being mandatory doesn't make a difference, because you can attack directly with him, and if there's nothing on your opponent's fields you want to get rid of, you just banish him, and then he comes back during the end phase, so it doesn't really make a difference that it's mandatory. Of course, we have our 3 staples, 2 MSTs, because you want to get rid of your opponent's back row. You don't want them, you know, blowing up your Watt Hoppers or Tarantuling or anything like that. 1/1, of course, I've already described and, you know, added. Pot of Duality. This card, you don't really special summon in this deck at all, except for Exceeding, which we'll talk about later, which is very fun. But you rarely Exceed. So Pot of Duality is good for just getting those hoppers and those cobras and everything to your hand. Recycling Batteries is a very good card as well. It pretty much grabs any monster, bar Honest and Thunder Seahorse, from your graveyard and puts it back in your hand. This can get you like a hopper and a cobra back, which can be huge. It also adds to your hand. It's a +1, and yet some of your most important stuff back. My last spell card is Smashing Ground, and I run this card to get rid of problem monsters. If my opponent has a monster on the field that I don't want to deal with, if they have a Dark Arm that's blowing up all my stuff and I can't, get a hold in the ground because, every time I try to play a Wad Hopper, they blow it up, I'll smash and ground it. This is just for problem stuff. It doesn't come across too often, but you definitely want to be able to blow up stuff when you can. Now into the trap lineup. I'll go across the normal traps, and then I'll go across my very interesting ones. 2 Mirror Force, just to get rid of problem monsters again, of course. The Solemn Brigade, because Solemn Brigade is great, and Starlight Road, so that they don't blow up your hoppers with a Dark Hole or a Torrential. Now, we have another part of this deck. Triple Fairy Box and Triple Magic Cylinder. This is weird, but it works. The thing about Magic Cylinder is that this deck can pretty much, you can just drop a Cobra and say attack for 1,000. That's good. Your opponent's turn comes. They, get out Darkness Metal and attack you directly. You flip your Magic Cylinder, and suddenly they're only at 4,200 life points. Next turn, you can get whatever you summoned with Wat Cobra. They might be down to like 2,200 after that, or 20, or just 2,000. You got a Giraffe, and then suddenly they're really afraid because this magical cylinder has, gotten rid of a ton of their life points. And what if you have another one face down? I'm running 3 of these, so I can dish out a whole lot of damage with them. Just think about how a lot of monsters, Watts, of course, are not a good example of this, but in other decks, a lot of monsters, if, you Magic Cylinder them, can do, like, over a quarter of your opponent's life points, just from being Magic Cylinder, so that's really good, and it can definitely scare people. Fairy Box is a very fun card, because the thing about Fairy Box is when your opponent has it active, well, if you don't know what it does, when your opponent's monster attacks, you declare heads or tails, and then you flip a coin. If you get it right, their attack becomes 0, and it also has a maintenance cost of 500 life points during each of your standby phases. The problem with Fairy Box is that when your opponent has it, you want to just leave them be. You want to just say, okay, do whatever you want for a while. I'm just going to wait till it burns you and you have to get rid of it. The thing about Watts is that they can continue dealing damage, so you have to attack them. And then if they get it wrong, things get worse for them because they don't have monsters anymore, and you just have this monster that's hitting them. And, if it's a Cobra, you're getting more, or, you could be setting up your Watt Hoppers. It's just so good. The ruling does come in here, which makes me kind of sad that having a Watt Hopper in attack position and a 0 attack, makes me very sad. Completely the opposite. It makes me very happy. That if you have a Watt Hopper in attack mode and they have to attack it, they attack it with Fairy Box activates, their attack goes down to 0, nothing happens. If it was in the OCG, of course, then their attack would go down to 0 and Watt Hopper would be lost, but it isn't, so that's very nice. So, yeah, that's a very good side about Fairy Box. Having multiples can be nice, but the 1,000 life points maintenance cost can be a pain sometimes. It depends on what you want to do. Side deck is somewhat straightforward. I have an MST just because it's the third one, Prohibition because it's a great card to side against every single deck, System Down if people randomly try to use machines, Bottomless for Dark Worlds, that sort of stuff, just a generic banish card for stuff that doesn't like banish. Gazan Match for wind-ups and Sams. Pretty sure it works against Sams. I don't know. Macrocosmos against, like, a ton of decks this format. Notably, Dark World, Mermails, all that sort of stuff. And 2 Trap Stun against Mermails as well. If you don't know the ruling, their Abyss Sphere, if you Trap Stun that, they don't get spell cards for the rest of the game, so that's a big one. Here for the extra, or as I like to call it, Stardust and every generic rank 4 Xyz in the game. That's essentially what it is, along with Kintetsu. But yes, Stardust for Starlight Road. Abyss Dweller, great card. Marigeist, no, alright card. Kintetsu, if you randomly have 2 Dragonflies and you want to go into him. Gaga Cowboy, great card in this deck. You can attack directly with, 2 of these or 2 of these, deal, 2,000, 2,400, then Xyz into the sky and deal the last amount of damage by inflicting 800 damage with his effect, or by just sitting on him, and, he can deal 600, 1,600 damage in general. That would be 3,600 all said and done. So, you can go into him if you're feeling scared. Gemini Pearl, great rank 4. Maestro, the best rank 4. 3 level 4 monsters make Shockmaster. He's just there in case the need arises. It probably never will, but it might. Utopia, he's the rank 4. Black Horn, because it can blow up stuff that's problematic and also deal damage. Utopia Ray, because I have that much space, I can run Utopia Ray, and he's also just a nice card to have when you need it. Paplo Operative, to flip up your opponent's stuff and deal even more damage, or just, get rid of their stuff that's face down. Maybe for some reason you don't want something face down, I'm not really sure. Steelstorm Roach, because I have so much room I can add a freaking Roach, which is just this useless card. If my opponent's playing Chaos Dragons, I guess. Violent Sigma, just a nice rank 4 that requires 3. It's a pretty cool card. It's sort of gotten overshadowed by Shockmaster, but it's a good one. And Wind Up Zen Master, which is just another good rank 4 Xyz. That's the deck, guys. It's pretty simplistic to play. You can pretty much just take this deck, pick it up, and start playing it. It doesn't cost too much. You really don't need that much in the extra. I would say, like, Stardust, which you probably have lying around, a Cowboy, which can be a little, a Pearl, a Maestro, a Utopia, and maybe a Paplo Operative. A lot of this stuff is just because I have enough room to play it. But yes, that is Watts. I hope you guys enjoyed. You'll see in the next video. Hopefully it'll be another deck profile. Maybe a duel video with Eva Swarm. Probably that. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.